Hi, I'm Dr. Bill Adams, and this is No Spin Live, episode number 10, everybody's favorite program where you get to hear the real deal about plastic surgery from the world's best plastic surgeons. Today, we have a great slate for you. We're going to start off talking about Taylor Swift. Did she get massive breast implants? I don't know, but you're going to find out. The black market in plastic surgery. There's cut rate fillers, Botox that are being offered. Is this something that you should be interested in or run away from? We're going to talk about Brexit, where England left the European Union. Cosmetic procedures are down 40%, but we're not sure if that's actually true. And finally, the venous dimple. You may not know what it is, but if you stick with us, we'll explain it to you. You're not going to want to miss this one. So today, we've got Dan Del Vecchio from Boston, Massachusetts, Caroline Glicksman from Sea Girt, New Jersey, Jason Pozner from Boca Raton, Florida, and Pat McGuire from St. Louis. We're going to jump right into it. So first story is on Taylor Swift. There was a story that came out asking, did Taylor Swift get massive breast implants? I was looking at this. I can't tell. Caroline, what is the deal with this story?
Well, I actually heard about this afternoon, ran it by my 19-year-old, who immediately said to me, well, Mom, she got her first pair in 2015. She got her second pair about 2 years ago. They all know about it. They know what's going on with her body. And I think she's beautiful. She's intelligent. She's a talented musician. She made a decision for herself, and the girls all know it, and they think of her as a role model.
Jason, I mean, it says in here she looks completely different. What do you think?
I think she was pretty flat before, and now she's not so flat, and she looks pretty good. So I'm going to give a thumbs up to Taylor Swift.
Pat McGuire, I mean, what's the big deal? It's like, is it a crime to get breast implants?
No, it's not a crime to get breast implants. I think the only person who should care if Taylor Swift had breast implants is Taylor Swift. And she needs to do what makes her comfortable. As long as she went to a board-certified plastic surgeon and they did what was best for her anatomy, good for her.
Del Vecchio, I'm sure you have an opinion on this. What say you?
This is one of the only times, Bill, where I'm going to agree with Jason Pozner. I mean, it's pretty boring response because the patient wants it. She's a patient. She should have what she wants. And I think it looks pretty natural. I think it looks pretty good. So more power to her.
Look, I think you guys all said it. I mean, it's up to her whether she wants to, what she wants to do. I think she looks good. It wasn't like she looked terrible to begin with. And I wouldn't say she has massive breasts in the picture they had in this story either. So looks like she's doing pretty well. I think more power to her.
The also thing is you're preaching to the choir. This is what we all do on a pretty much daily basis. So, she did something reasonably, and we're going to give her a thumbs up for that.
All right, well, let's move on to this next story, which is a little bit more meat on the bone. This is about black market products and plastic surgery. I think there's two things that we want you guys' opinion on. Number one was like these products that are sold. Usually they're coming from Asia. Other things like fillers that are very dirt cheap. But then also it gets into just the cost of plastic surgery procedures. So Dan Del Vecchio, why don't you lead us off?
I think that's what the FDA is for, Bill. I mean, these kind of products, I have no idea who's using these products. If a doctor's using these products, shame on them. I mean, I would imagine these are being used by like non-physicians or non-licensed physicians from foreign countries who are practicing medicine. But, we have to put into our patients to give our patients FDA-approved, safe products. I just think this is crazy. If any MD who has a license in the state in the United States is using this, they're crazy.
Pat McGuire, what do you think about this whole deal?
Well, they say good plastic surgery isn't cheap and cheap plastic surgery isn't good. And a lot of the reason people will be attracted to these types of fillers is because they're cheap. But you get what you pay for. And I think if you're going to a board-certified provider, the chances of them using, hopefully, a black market product is slim to none. And you really have to be careful because nobody has any idea what's in these products. There are companies that just find old Botox containers and fill them with whatever the heck they want to fill them with. So you don't know what you're getting.
What you really didn't hope for is a real bad complication. Jason, I'm sure you have some comments on this. I mean, these type products, who knows what's in the product, and you're sticking them in your face and other parts. I mean, you can have some really life-threatening problems, right?
Listen, I live in Florida, and that's where you see a lot of this stuff. So I'll give you a little story. Current patient that I'm seeing now, her first time getting anything, went to some spot somewhere, they injected something in her face, probably some sort of silicone. You got contaminated with mycobacteria. Now she's seeing the ID person has a PICC line in, and I keep opening these wounds up on her. It's a nightmare. The Board of Medicine comes down hard on non-licensed providers and on physicians putting in stuff that's illegal. So, as Pat said, you get what you pay for. Go to someone who's board certified, and those of us who are in practice for a long time, we wouldn't dare touch any of this stuff.
And Caroline, in addition to whatever comments you have about the products, just the same thing goes for plastic surgery. People are always looking for something that's dirt cheap or cut rate. And I think the same principles apply, don't you think?
If you're using a product and it's off-label and the patient agrees to it and the patient signs and is well-informed, that's a different story. But they're still opening themselves up to liability.
Yeah, look, if you go buy your suit at the dollar store, how long is it going to last? It's not going to be very good quality, and you're exactly right. You get what you pay for.
GalaFlex is a wonderful prosthetic material to use to correct a lot of problems that we face in aesthetic breast surgery.
GalaFlex has been a real great product for me in especially breast revision type surgery procedures.
If someone is presenting who's had multiple pregnancies, multiple fluctuations in weight, has very poor collagen elastin in the breast tissue, that's a very good time to introduce a synthetic mesh.
What we're finding is that you can use this mesh to provide additional support to soft tissues. And in GalaFlex, we've found a really nice product that seems to work well.
Allowing me to provide a breast augmentation that has more structure is a great idea.
We want some sort of an internal support that sort of adds to the strength of their own skin. And that way we can have something that over 30 days and 60 days and 90 days and a year and 3 years gives them sort of the same look that they had hoped for in the beginning.
I like using the absorbable meshes like GalaFlex in particular. This mesh lasts for 18 months. It is replaced by good scar tissue that is strong, but you can't feel it, and acts as a bra to hold up that breast for a much longer period of time.
Because women come in all the time saying, I want to look like I look when I'm wearing a bra. And so we put this in like an internal bra cup, and we actually found it worked very well, very little stretch of the lower pole of the breast, and very safely, so very minimal issues or complications.
I am more excited today. The more I've used it, the more I see patients come back and the results we're getting, I am more excited about it than I've ever been.
All right, so let's move on. Caroline, I'm going to stick with you because you are our UK expert. Whenever I go to England, I ask Caroline what to do because she knows everything about it. But there's a story that comes out of UK talking about that cosmetic elective procedures are down about 40%, and they blame it on the whole Brexit thing where they exited the European Union. So what do you think about that, Caroline?
I don't think it's actually unique to Great Britain. I mean, they certainly have some economic uncertainty. And even in the United States, you have economic uncertainty, that elective luxury spending goes way down. I mean, even natural disasters. Come to think of it, we had a hurricane here, and everybody was buying kitchen counters and rebuilding their houses, and nobody was getting Botox for a couple of years. So if any kind of economic uncertainty, the elective fund money disappears.
Jason, does that surprise you?
Well, look at all of our practices. In 2009, or 2008, didn't we have some problems here? My business certainly wasn't what it was in 2008 as it was in 2007. So certainly it's reasonable to expect that Brexit and any economic uncertainty leads to less cosmetic surgery. Look, those of us who do cosmetic surgery, we're in the luxury goods business. Okay? If you don't have money, you're not buying a Louis bag. You're not buying a Chanel whatever, shoes, right? You're going to the dollar store. So I can see that happening in England as well as the United States.
What do you think, Pat McGuire?
Yeah, I think we saw it after the housing collapse in 2007, 2008. Our business went down. A friend who's in the Hollywood area said when there was a writer's strike, they had a really significant downturn in the number of procedures that were performed there. So I think we're all kind of tied to the economy, and you have to be good at what you do so people will come to you, good times, bad times, to keep things going.
Last story, apparently women are paying a lot of money to get what they're calling these venous dimples, which you guys saw the pictures, little depressions in the kind of above the buttock area and the hip area. So Dan, you're a world's authority in body contouring. What's the deal with that, man? I mean, I've never seen a patient for that.
I haven't either, but the dimple of Venus is a natural tethering of the dermis down to the posterior superior iliac crest, and it is kind of a pretty thing. When you can see it, it means there's not a lot of fat in the lower back area, and typically you'll see it in conjunction with a well-defined natal cleft and cleavage of the buttock.
I mean, Pat McGuire, how many people are coming in asking for a venous dimple?
In St. Louis, we're not seeing anyone asking for a venous dimple. I never even thought of it before until you sent this story. So it's not something that I've heard anybody. I think it would be difficult to create. As Dan said, it's a structural attachment, and doing a little bit of over-suctioning in one area, I don't think is going to create the same thing. Just like my comment was going to be like Dan said, the etched abdominal muscles, got to earn those abdominal muscles, not have somebody manufacture them for you.
Jason Pozner, you're in Florida, you got women walking around in bikinis all the time, so if anybody's going to see a venous dimple, you're probably seeing it in Florida.
I didn't know anything about venous dimples till I went to Colombia, and I did some training. Barry DiBernardo and I went to Colombia, and we got trained by Alfredo Hoyos. And he's one of the experts in this 3D and 4D body contouring, and he did that on every patient. So we went there probably, 6-7 years ago when we went down there for training. So he was doing it. Is it something I really care about? No. In his hands it did pretty well. I'm a little scared to take patients down to that thin. But, if it comes out that way, it doesn't look too bad.
I don't know, Caroline, you got your daughter's asking about getting a venous dimple or what?
My daughters still have this beautiful dimple in their back.
You're born with it, like their mom, right?
Yeah.
You have to have it. It's beautiful, it's sexy. If you want to spend $6,000-$7,000 on it, I personally would rather buy shoes. But,
All right, well, listen, that's some great stuff. I'm sure everybody enjoyed it. If you want to see more of this, you can find it on theplasticsurgerychannel.com.